Good morning everyone. Welcome back to my channel Medasvi Commerce Classes. In the previous video we have discussed about the management is both art and science which are not mutually exclusive but complement to each other. The important 8 marks question. So now in this video we are going to discuss about the different functions of the management. What are the different functions which are there in the management for the smooth functioning of the organizational objectives. So now quickly we will move on to this important topic again, functions of management. They'll ask you for 8 marks. Before starting up this video, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel Medasvi Commerce Classes. Okay, now let us start with this functions of management. First, what do you mean by these functions of management? See, actually management is nothing but it is a process of you have to do the planning and then you have to organize the resources which are required for executing your plans. And then you have to recruit the employees because employees are very important for performing the activities in your organization. You have to recruit the employees, you have to train the employees, and you have to direct the employees. You have to insist the employees how the work has to be performed in the organization. And also you have to check whether they are performing according to the standards what you have fixed in your organization. See, all these things you have to do, all this process we are going to call it as a management functions. Why we are doing all these things? For the purpose of achieving your organizational objectives. So functions includes your planning, your organizing, your staffing, your directing, your controlling. All these activities are called as your functions of your management. And there is a person who is called as a Luther Gulick. He has given one keyword which is called as post-corb. P-O-S-D-C-O-R-B. They'll ask you for 2 marks. Expand post-corb. Post-corb is nothing but P stands for planning, O stands for organizing, S stands for staffing, D stands for directing, CO stands for coordination, R stands for reporting, B stands for budgeting. According to this person, functions of management includes this keyword post-corb: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordination, reporting and budgeting. But now we are going to study about only 5 functions of management, which is planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. Next, after this from the 3rd chapter, in detail, in depth, you are going to study about each particular function of your management. We have planning separate chapter, organizing separate chapter, staffing with separate chapter, directing separate chapter, and we have controlling separate chapter. Here for writing this question, we will have a glimpse of each functions which are performed in the organization for achieving the goals of the organization. Let's go one by one the different functions of organization. First function is planning. Yes, obviously before doing any task, before doing any work, planning is very, very important. See, if you want to go for a one-day trip also, you are going to plan so much. When you have to, which bus you have to catch or how you have to go, the travel, the food, the itinerary, everything you are going to plan it in advance, right? For one-day trip or one-day outing, if you are going to plan that much, assume that the organization where there will be a lakhs of employees and so much of work to be done, so many activities to be performed, how much plan the organization has to do. See, each and every activity, for performing each and every goal, planning plays a very, very important role in the organization. Then what exactly mean by this planning? Planning is nothing but deciding in advance. You are going to decide it, what you want to do it, what you want to do it, when you want to do it, who has to do it, where you have to perform that particular activity. Deciding everything in advance is called as a planning. So what does this planning help you? Planning tells you what is the goals which you have to achieve it in the future, what goals you have to keep, what is the goals which you have to achieve, and how you have to achieve that goals, the means of achieving that goals, that will also be there in your planning. The main purpose of planning is going to formulate the policies, procedures, budgets. It is going to formulate all these things for the purpose of achieving the organizational objectives what you have planned at the planning stage. Ma'am, what is the use of this planning? See, when you plan, the work is going to be happen more effectively and efficiently. There will be no confusions with the persons who is performing that particular activity, or there will be no there will be, you can minimize the risk what is going to be happen in the future, or you can minimize the wastages, what is going to be happen. See, all these things are going to be done in this particular stage itself, planning. If you plan very carefully, the execution work will become easy, so that you can easily achieve your organizational goals. According to News and O'Donnell, planning is deciding in advance what to do, what you have to do, when you have to do, how you have to do it. So this is what you mean by planning. It will help you to set the goals, and it will develops the ways for achieving that goals. Okay, so first step or first function is planning. Now, ma'am, we have planned, we have some plan, we have some objectives, we have framed some policies, some procedures, everything we have planned, ma'am. Now the next step is your organizing. So to execute that plan, you want all the resources at the same place. Maybe your material resources, your machineries, your employees, all the resources should be organized at a single place. So organize plays a very important role after your planning. So now we'll see what is the organizing process you have to perform while organizing the resources in your organization. First, you have to identify the work. What is there in your business. After identifying the work, you divide the work. Division of work which belongs to a similar nature. After identifying and division of the work, the next what you have to do, you have to do the departmentalization. What do you mean by departmentalization? Grouping the work which belongs to the similar nature, that is called departmentalization. Like for example, you can group according to the functions. Like if the production department is there, whatever the production related activities are there, that you group into one particular group. For the sales department, what are the sales related activities are there, that you group into another. For the marketing department, what are the marketing related activities, work is there, you group that into that particular function. So depending upon the functions, you can group the activities which belongs to the similar nature. And depending upon the products manufactured, if there is one company which manufacturing a different varieties of product, like for example ITC, if we take, they are into food industry, they are into textile industry, they are into cosmetics industry. So many different products they are going to manufacture. So you are going to departmentalize, divide the activities depending upon the product which is manufactured. Textile industry a separate, and food division a separate. Like this marketing, like this we are going to divide it according to the type of a product they are going to produce in their organization. Or you can divide it according to the territory, like north, east, west, south. You have a different branches, or which is the north branch what you have, the east branch what you have. Depending upon that, you can divide the activities in your organization. First you have to identify the activities, and then you have to divide the work, and then you have to group according to the similar nature, maybe depending upon the functions, depending upon the territory, or depending upon the types of the products which you are manufacturing. After grouping the activities, now next step is assigning the duties. Now you have to assign the work to the people, work to the employees, or work to the departments to perform the work. How you are going to assign it? Depending upon their qualification, depending upon their skills, depending upon their abilities, capacities, their creativity, you are going to assign the duties to the individual employees, or it may be to the departments in your organization. After assigning the duties, now the next one is you have to establish the reporting relationship. What do you mean by this establishing the reporting relationship? See, establishing reporting relationships is nothing but each employee should come to know that from which person he has to take the orders, and after completing that particular work, to which person he has to report that work. That reporting relationship you have to establish. That is the last step in your organizing. See, first you have to identify the work, divide the work. Next, group the work which belongs to the similar nature depending upon the function, territory, or the product. Then assign the duties. Then you tell to the employees from whom they have to take the work, and after completing, to whom they have to hand over that work. This is entire your organizing involves. First is planning. After planning, then comes your organizing. Organizing is nothing but bringing all the materials which are required at a same place for the fruitful completion of the work. After organizing, the next is staffing. Now, okay, everything is done. Now, staffing. Staffing is a third important function which is also called as human resource function. In a simple manner, we can tell that staffing is nothing but placing the right person in the right place. That is nothing but recruiting the right person according to his qualification and placing that right person in a right place. If the person knows how well he can do that particular activity, then obviously the work will be done in a smooth manner. If he is not aware that activity, or if he is not qualified to do that particular activity, what happens? Whatever he is going to do that work, that will not be up to mark. You can't achieve the organizational goals. So staffing plays a very, very important role. How you are going to recruit the employees in your organization, all those things will be taken care by this human resource function, which is called as your staffing function. See, it begins with, how does this staffing function begins? It starts with human resource planning or manpower planning. First, you have to plan how many employees or how much manpower is required in your organization. So after planning, what you will do, the next step is your recruitment. You will search for the employees where you will get right employees for the right place. After searching, what you will do, you'll select the employees. There will be so many people, but you can't provide the jobs for all the people. Now it is your turn to select the employees through having some interviews, having some tests and all. You are going to select them. After selecting the employees, what you will do, you are going to train the employees according to your requirements. You have to train them. After training, you have to encourage them for the development, further development in your organization. And after that, you will give the promotion. Performance appraisal will be there. How they are going to work in the organization, you are going to check that work. According to that work, you are going to give the promotion to those employees. And compensation, you have to pay the fair wages, salaries, incentives, bonus to the employees. See, all this work will be done in your staffing. We can simply tell that staffing function is nothing but the human resource function, which is purely deals with all the employees in your organization. Planning how many employees required, recruiting them. Recruiting is nothing but searching them, then selecting them, training them, then developing them, and giving them the promotion, doing the performance appraisal, and paying them the salaries, incentives. Everything will deals with your staffing function. So this is your next one, which deals with the human resource of your organization. Coming to the fourth function, directing. What do you mean by this directing? See, all this planning, organizing, staffing will tells you how you have to perform the work. But doing the work starts with the function called as directing. It is a very, very important function. Directing is nothing but insisting, influencing, motivating the employees, supervising the employees how to do the work in the organization. Whatever the goals they have given, whatever the objectives they have given, how to achieve that objectives, how they have to work in the organization, that is nothing but you are directing, influencing the people, leading the people, motivating the people to work accordingly how you want them to work in the organization. The major components of the directing are motivation, leadership, communication, and supervision. What do you mean by motivation? See, motivation is necessary for each and every employees in the organization. How well they are working in the organization, but sometimes when the higher level management or the superiors, when they motivate them, it will create a positive atmosphere in the minds of the employees to work more and more in the organization. Motivating is nothing but creating an environment where the employees can work peacefully, where the employees can work in a positive manner. You have to create that type of environment. And leadership is nothing but influencing the people. How you are going to attract your subordinates, how you are going to influence the people, and you make them to do the work which actually you want them to perform that particular work. That is your leadership. How you are influencing and getting the work from your subordinates. Communication, how effectively you are going to communicate with your subordinates, how you are going to communicate the information with your subordinates. And supervision, whatever the work you have given to them, whatever the work you have assigned to them, how you have motivated them, how you have influenced them, how you have communicated them, checking that whether they are doing that work accordingly or not, supervising the work performance of your employees. These are the major components of your directing. See, directing plays a very, very important role. It is an important function of the management because this directly deals with doing the work in the organization. So you have to motivate the employees, you have to lead the employees, you have to supervise the employees, you have to communicate effectively with the employees for the smooth functioning in the organization for the purpose of achieving the organizational goals. Coming to the last function in your management, that is your controlling. Ma'am, we have planned, we have organized, we have recruited through staffing, we have directed the people. Now the last function is controlling. What do you mean by this controlling? See, controlling is nothing but checking whether the work is done according to the plans or not, according to the standards what you have fixed, according to that the work is happening in your organization or not, ensuring that is called as your controlling. Monitoring the organizational performance, whether they are doing the work for the purpose of achieving the organizational objectives or not, whether the work is happening according to the plans or not, that is taken care by your controlling function. Let us see what are the process of controlling. First, setting the performance standards. First, you have to set what is the objectives of your organization, what is the standard of your organization. For example, if we take, ma'am, in the second PUC I have to score 95%. That is your standard what you have fixed. Then you measure the actual performance. In your test and examination, if you are going to get 90, 94, 93, that is your actual performance. You are going to measure it. What was my standard? My standard is 95. Now I have achieved 90%. This is my actual. Now you compare your standard with the actuals. See, my standard is 95, my actual is 90. What is the difference? Still 5% I have to achieve it. So you have to compare it. Then you have to analyze the deviation. Deviation is nothing but the difference. Why this 5% I can't achieve it? What are the differences? Why I am deviating? So what are the measures I can take to improve my performance? All these things you have to take care. Then take the corrective action. What is the action required to improve your performance? So first, set the standards, then measure the actual performance, then you compare your standards with the actual, then you understand why the differences is happening, why the deviation is happening, then take the active measures or active actions so that you can achieve that organizational objective according to your standards kept. This is your controlling, monitoring whether the activities are happening in the organization according to the plans or not. You have to set the standards, you have to compare your actuals with the standards, you have to understand the differences and take the corrective action. That is your controlling. So we have studied about planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. All these functions are interrelated to each other. Without one function, you can't perform the other function. It is interrelated and interlinked to each other. So that when we conclude it, we can tell that for the smooth functioning of all the activities in the organization or for the achievement of your organizational goals, these functions of the management are very, very important. Starting from the planning till to the controlling, you have to perform all the continuous interrelated functions in an organization. It has to first start with the planning, then only organizing, then only staffing, then directing, then controlling. It has to go accordingly. So this is what you have to write it for your 8 marks. First you write what is the management. I have given you in the slide also, even in your notes also, what is your management process, and then you explain one by one functions of your management. I have already told you in my previous videos and all, the notes will be readily available in my video. It will be there in my description box. If you want the notes, you can download it. Whatever I have explained it, everything is there in your notes. After listening to my video, if you are going to go through with your notes, that will be helpful for writing up in your examination. So notes will be like this. First, I explain the functions of management, or management is a series of continuous interrelated functions. Comment. First you write the introduction, and then you write the different functions of management. What is planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. At last you have to write the conclusion for it. Hope you people have understood with this particular video. You have understood this particular concept, the different functions of management. Next we are going to discuss about the coordination and what are the features of coordination in our upcoming video. Until then, stay tuned to my channel. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.